Welcome to today's Explainer. Think of this as an intensive virtual seminar, and I'm going to be stepping into the role of your senior CSI instructor today. Honestly, I'm also going to be a bit of a stern examiner. Why? Because my objective here is absolutely singular. I want to move your proficiency score from a shaky 51% right up to a highly comfortable 85% for chapters 8 and 9. We are going to systematically hunt down and correct the exact logic errors that keep nearly half of all candidates from passing. So grab your notes, definitely grab your TIBA 2 Plus calculator, and let's get straight to work.
Here's our fast-paced syllabus for today. 1. Margin Rule Fundamentals. 2. The Double Whammy Calculation Lab. 3. A Settlement Simulation. 4. An Equities Microquiz. And 5. Some plain English order type analogies.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the lecture phase. Margin Rule Fundamentals. Listen closely to this, because failing to grasp the hard rules of margin accounts is exactly where so many candidates immediately lose their marks. You absolutely must memorize the tiered long margin requirements. It is not just one flat rate. When a stock is trading at $2 and over, your minimum margin required is 50%, meaning the dealer is perfectly happy to loan you the other 50%. But notice what happens when things start heading south. As the stock price drops to $1.75 and then down to $1.50, the minimum margin required from you leaps to 60% and then 80%. If it falls under $1.50, you are putting up 100% of the cash. The crucial takeaway here is this. As a stock's price drops, it becomes riskier, and the dealer's willingness to lend you money just rapidly vanishes. And that perfectly illustrates the incredibly strict regulatory environment we operate in, especially when we flip the script over to short selling. Think about it. When you sell short, you are selling borrowed stock, hoping the price falls. But what if it rises? Short selling carries mathematically unlimited risk. There is no ceiling. That is exactly why regulators demand that your account balance equals the proceeds of the short sale, so that's 100%, plus a 50% margin requirement. The whole thing totals a strict 150% of the market value. Do not even think about walking into the exam room without that 150% rule permanently locked in your memory. Moving right along to Section 2, the Calculation Lab. Get ready for the double whammy effect. Let's actually apply those hard rules to a worst-case scenario. This one trips up almost everyone on the test. I call it the double whammy. Grab your TIBA I Plus calculator right now. Let's walk through it. Step 1. You buy 1,000 shares of a stock at $2.10 on margin. That's a $2,100 market value. Because it's over $2, you are in that 50% margin tier. Step 2. The dealer loans you 50%, which is $1,050, and you put up your own $1,050. But here comes Step 3. Disaster strikes. The price plummets to $1.65. Your total market value shrinks to $1,650. But here is the dreaded double whammy. You didn't just lose market value, you fell straight through the floor into a brand new regulatory tier. At $1.65, you are now stuck in the 80% margin tier. So, Step 4, the dealer will now only loan you 20% of the market value. Let's do the keystrokes. On your calculator, punch in 1650, hit the multiply button, type 0.20 and hit equals. Boom, $330. The dealer's maximum loan to you is now just a measly $330. Step 5. Your new margin requirement is that $1,650 market value minus the $330 loan. That means you must have $1,320 sitting in your account. But wait, you only put in $1,050 initially, right? Guess what? Your phone is ringing. It's a margin call. This is the exact logic you have to trace on the exam to avoid an instant fail. Next up, Section 3, T+1 Simulation. Settlement and ex-dividend dates. Time and time again, candidates miscalculate the calendar because they completely forget that the market sleeps. Let's map out this timeline. Assume Monday is a statutory holiday, and a company sets a Wednesday record date for a dividend payout. Because equities settle at T+1, meaning the trade date plus 1 business day, you literally must buy the stock by Friday. The weekend, plus that Monday holiday, creates a massive gap. Tuesday becomes your T+1, the actual settlement date. So you buy on Friday, you settle on Tuesday, and you are safely on the books for Wednesday's record date. Tracking the cum, dividend, and ex-dividend dates reveals a very hard cutoff. Cum dividend simply means with dividend. If you make your purchase on Friday, you get the dividend. Simple as that. But if you wait until the very next business trading day to make your move, which in our holiday scenario is Tuesday, you won't actually settle until Wednesday. You've missed the cutoff. Therefore, Tuesday is the ex-dividend date. If you buy on Tuesday, the stock trades without the dividend, and the seller walks away keeping your payout. Visually mapping the weekend gap eliminates the most common settlement error. Master that T+1 rule, and you'll nail these questions effortlessly. Let's move to Section 4, the micro quiz, preferreds and CDRs. Okay, it is time for a high-pressure micro quiz. I want to test your comprehension of complex equities against the classic red herring numbers they use to distract you. Scenario 1. You hold a 4.5% rate reset preferred share and it's passing its initial 5-year term. Does it A, automatically renew at a guaranteed 4.5%, or B, reset to the 5-year Government of Canada bond yield plus a spread? Think about it. The answer is B. That 4.5% in the name? It's just a historical anchor meant to trick you. At the 5-year mark, the rate completely resets based on the current 5-year government bond yield plus a predetermined spread. Or you can opt to swap it for a floating rate share. Never ever assume past rates guarantee future resets. Scenario 2. This one's on Canadian Depository Receipts, or CDRs. Let's say you own an Amazon CDR and the Canadian dollar drops 3% against the US dollar. Do you A, lose 3% of your investment's value, or B, stay perfectly hedged? Don't fall for the currency trap. The answer is B. CDRs have a built-in CDR ratio that adjusts daily to perfectly hedge against exchange rates. So if the Canadian dollar drops, the ratio just adjusts so your CDR represents a slightly larger fraction of the underlying shares. Your investment only reflects the underlying stock's actual movement. It is totally isolated from those currency swings.
Scenario 3. Bankruptcy. Who gets paid first out of the remaining assets? A, the prestigious holders of the 5.25% Class A preferred shares, or B, the bank? Listen to me, the bank always eats first. The word preferred here is a giant red herring. Yes, preferred shareholders absolutely rank ahead of common stock. That's why they get the title preferred, but they still stand strictly behind senior creditors and bondholders in the capital structure. The answer is B.
Let's try Scenario 4. A company skips 3 dividends on a non-cumulative preferred share. Are those arrears? A, owed immediately before the company can pay common dividends, or B, forfeited entirely? Read carefully. The specific term non-cumulative is the trap here. The answer is B, arrears do not accrue. That means you get absolutely nothing for those skipped payments. Only cumulative preferreds accrue missed dividends. You have to read the specific adjectives in the exam questions, guys. They change the entire outcome. Final scenario for the quiz. Interest rates spike sharply across the board. Which security takes the bigger hit and plummets faster in price? A, a fixed-rate perpetual preferred share, or B, a floating-rate preferred share? The answer is A. Here is the logic. Fixed-rate preferreds will absolutely crater in price because their locked-in yield suddenly becomes worthless relative to the new, higher interest rates out in the broader market. Floating-rate preferreds, on the other hand, will just adjust their dividend up to match the new market rates, which keeps their underlying price relatively stable. All right, homestretch. Section 5, the Order Types Playbook, using plain analogies. Let's close out this explainer by stripping away the dry, technical jargon from complex order types and replacing them with plain English analogies. Rote memorization fails under exam pressure. Foundational logic survives. Let's compare a market order to a limit order. A market order is essentially like buying an item at whatever price is on the tag right now. It's an immediate grab in a fast-moving liquid market. It absolutely guarantees execution, but it gives you zero protection on the final price you pay. A limit order, conversely, is like setting a rigid shopping budget before you walk into the store. You refuse to pay a single penny over your target. It guarantees the price you pay, but if the market never drops down to meet your budget, you might just walk away completely empty-handed. Now let's look at stop orders. An on-stop sell order is your safety net. You place it below the current market price. It is triggered only if the floor falls out, acting as an insurance policy against a collapsing stock price to cap your losses before they get worse. An on-stop buy order is the exact opposite. It's kind of like jumping on a moving train. You place it above the current price. Why? Because it's used to validate an upward technical trend before you commit your hard-earned cash. You are ensuring the stock proves its momentum and hits a certain speed before your order even becomes active. While we covered a lot of crucial ground today, from margin calculations to T+1 settlement logic, and finally translating order types into plain English, I want to leave you with this stark reminder directly from the text regarding short selling. There is no limit to how high the price of a stock can advance. Since short sellers face mathematically infinite risk in the market, I have to ask you, what is the true limit to your potential if you actively master these mechanics instead of just trying to memorize them? Study hard, Practice those calculator keystrokes, and I fully expect to see you hit that 85% passing grade.